Welcome to Voices in the Community, where we share the stories and conversations with the students, staff, and community members who make a difference in Franklin Township. I'm Dr. Chase Hoteri, Superintendent of FTCSC, and today we're talking all things junior high band and ISSMA. I've got several junior high band members with me. I've got Brandon, Jeremiah, Storm, and Gabe, and then I've got a trio of our instructors, Mrs. Dunblazer, Mr. Hodgson, and Mrs. Palin. So we're going to start off here just a little bit because we just want to get to know who's on the call here. So I'm going to start with my teachers back there. If you just want to tell me who you are, how long you've been at Franklin Township, and maybe what your instrument was when you were in junior high band. So Ms. Palin, go ahead.
I'll start. I am Mrs. Palin. I've been here for 2 years now, and I started on clarinet, actually, with Mrs. Dunblazer.
I read that Mrs. Dunblazer was your high school band instructor, huh?
That's right, yep.
That's awesome. Mrs. Dunblazer, we'll go over to you.
All right, this is my 26th year in the township, my 27th year teaching. My main instrument is saxophone, but as you all know, with being a band director, you got to play them all. So my main instrument is saxophone. I do play a lot of trumpet from here and there, but yep, saxophone.
I think anytime I walk in the classroom, I think I see you with the trumpet in your hand more often than not. All right, Mr. Hodgson, tell me a little bit about you. How long you been at FT?
All right, I got here in 2012 in the fall, and I was kind of at a few different buildings just doing percussion. And believe it or not, that was my main instrument when I was in band in middle school. And then in 2015 is when I came here to the junior high and started doing middle school band directing.
I can't believe it's been that long already. I remember when we hired you there full time at the junior high. And right now, are we in indoor percussion season right now at the high school?
So it actually just ended a week ago.
Okay, they're in Dayton, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, I know you spend a lot of time doing that, and indoor percussion is one of my favorite things to go watch. So, all right, to my students here, I got Brandon. Brandon, tell me what grade you in and what instrument do you play?
I'm in 8th grade and I play clarinet.
Play clarinet, awesome. And do you play any other sports or do anything else at the junior high?
Not really.
Awesome. All right. And then Jeremiah, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I play the flute mainly, and the school I normally do football and track.
Football and track, awesome. All right. Storm, tell me about yourself. What do you play?
I play the trombone.
You play the trombone. Awesome. Very cool. And how about Gabe? What do you play?
I play the baritone, and I was an 8th grade marcher for the high school marching band.
Okay, so you were already doing some marching band this year. That's awesome. Very cool. So to any three of my teachers, the first thing is ISSMA is a big deal. There's a lot of competitions, and a lot of people don't know what goes on with those competitions. So if somebody just wants to give me the background on ISSMA and what these kids have to do to prepare for ISSMA.
So ISSMA for us is 2 parts. There's the part that takes place in January, which is called the Solo and Ensemble Contest. And a lot of our kids, it's voluntary. They can actually perform as a soloist or an ensemble members. Some of our older students that are in 8th grade and some of them that are in 7th grade that did this as 6th graders kind of venture out a little bit further and try to tackle more than one event and branch out there and do a solo and an ensemble. So that all of that takes place usually at the end of January and the beginning of February. And then further on down in contest season, at the very beginning of March, there's something called organizational contest. And our top 2 8th grade bands, the wind ensemble and the symphonic band, work on 3 contrasting different pieces of music. One of them is usually a ballad, a slow piece. One of them is a march, and then one of them is usually picked off of a list, differentiating in whichever difficulty level they're going in. So, for example, this year, wind ensemble went in the hardest difficulty level, which is what they call Group 1, and symphonic band went in difficulty level Group 3, and then they played repertoire based on those particular difficulty levels.
And so how does the judging side of this work? Who comes in and kind of judges the performance?
Well, for solo and ensemble contests, it's usually area band directors, not necessarily in our zone. They'll choose band directors and orchestra directors from different zones, and they'll come over and they'll listen to the solo and ensemble folks play on contest day. And then it's similar to organizational contests, but instead of playing in front of one judge, you're playing in front of three. So we don't know who those judges are until we get there and we actually walk in the performance room, and it could be, a percussionist. Like for us this year, we just happen to have 2 percussion judges and a band director. And we just happened to get lucky, and actually one of the percussion judges knew Mrs. Whitson. So I don't know if that played into our benefit or not, but we'll take it.
That's awesome. So Brandon, I'm gonna start with you. It looks like you may have done a solo. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit. How does it feel going in there by yourself performing a solo? What does it take to get ready? And then how does it feel to be sitting in there kind of all on your own performing for the judges?
Well, I don't really like when people are like, "Oh, Brandon, you have to do good," because then that just puts more stress on me. So I just try and tune everybody else out and just focus on the solo and just try and get it done, play it the best I can.
That's awesome. When it comes, what was the hardest part about preparing for that solo?
Definitely being really nervous to play it the first few times in front of the class, and then being nervous to play it in front of the judges.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. But it sounds like you play it because you love to do it, and you just happen to have judges in front of you, and it all ends up working out. So, Jeremy, I'm going to jump over to you. What was it like when you first started playing your instrument? Because I've had my own kids that started in 6th grade, and I've heard 6th grade concerts, and then I've heard 8th grade concerts, and I know the difference that people make going from 6th to 8th grade. So what was it like when you first started your instrument?
Well, my brother, he's a junior and he plays clarinet as well, so he kind of helped me through it before I even started the 6th grade year. So I kind of knew all the basics, and I was actually pretty good at the clarinet when I first started.
Awesome. All right. Storm, you talked a lot about the practice that it takes outside of class. What keeps you motivated to practice your instrument outside of class? It's kind of a hard thing to get kids to do, is to continue to practice their instrument. I know the band directors are always harping on students, make sure you're practicing at home. What keeps you motivated to practice at home?
Just wanting to be better at something I'm passionate about. I've always really been passionate about music since I could play an instrument. And just thinking to myself, if I practice, I get a little better each time. Just helps motivate me to play.
That's awesome. And why did you choose the instrument that you did? You said you may have somebody else in your family that's in band. Is that correct?
My brother, he plays the saxophone. And I tried out for a saxophone, but it didn't really stick. And I liked the cool slide on the trombone, so...
I'm not going to argue with you there. That's awesome. And Gabe, remind me, what instrument do you play?
I play the baritone.
You played the baritone. So tell me about the baritone. I'll tell you a funny story before you tell me about the baritone. When I was the principal at Middle School East, before it was the junior high, Mrs. Dunblazer gave me a list of kids that needed to be in certain class by instrument, and it was by woodwinds and brass, and she had all that up. I had to have pictures next to me to tell me what instruments went in what group, because that's how minimal information I knew about band. My career stopped at the recorder, so I had no idea. So I'm embarrassed to admit it, but that's how little I know. So talk to me about the baritone and what role it plays in an ensemble.
I feel like the baritone is more of a supporting instrument. It's not really the main voice. It's more of supporting other voices, and you can really just pick out a baritone because it's a smaller tuba, and that's about it.
Okay, that's awesome. And so you kind of say it's kind of the underlying piece that moves everything else along. It's kind of not the main thing in front of all of it. Yes, sometimes when we're talking about it, whether it's a sport or whatever, we always think about the main person, but it's all the other people that makes things go. Jeremiah, I'm going to come over to you because you talked a little bit about playing some other sports. And I was also interested, there's a lot of you that do a lot of different things at the junior high. I think there's some misconception that if you're going to play band, or if you're going to be in the band, you don't have time to do anything else. Jeremiah, how do you balance all of the other stuff that you do? You're in a couple of different sports, and I know you got practices. How do you balance all that?
So mainly I have to communicate with the coaches to see what practice is what and like what time starts and like what is the time that's ending. So I can go to one practice and probably leave that practice early to go to the next.
And so you started. You said in sixth grade, your sixth grade teacher made a pretty big difference for you. Why did you choose your instrument? And talk just a little bit about your experience with Mr. Thoman.
The reason I chose my instrument is because when I was trying out all of the other instruments, they didn't fit well. But when I had tried out the flute, I really liked the mouthpiece because it fit well to my lips. So, and with Mr. Thoman, he had like helped me with small tips and like how to use it basically. And it was a little bit of Mr. U as well because he kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the way that you talk about that you've kind of got to balance all of these things on your own. I'm gonna jump over to Mrs. Palin because I saw you at the Edgewood Band concert, and so you're involved in a lot of different things, and you're fairly new to Franklin Township. So talk about like just how kids getting started in sixth and seventh grade and how it develops into what these kiddos are doing and competing at ISSMA.
Sure. I think it starts with a really great group of directors. We're all really close. So we're not required to attend each other's concerts, but that's one thing I noticed when I got here right away is that everybody just attended everybody's concerts and helped out where they could, whether it was just set up and tear down or just being another face in the crowd to meet some of the students that are coming up. So we get to know each other's programs really well, how we want things started, how we are passing them off to the next level, and it just becomes a really seamless process of and a really compatible program, sixth grade all the way up through the high school level. So when the intermediate directors test them in sixth grade, we know what they're going to be teaching, how they're teaching them, and then when they get to us, we already know exactly where they are and where they need to go when they get into high school. So we've started really crafting a pretty seamless process just because we just have a great group of us. We get along and we're all kind of, we have the same vision, the same goals, and we're all moving in the same direction. So it makes for a pretty good process.
Yeah, performing arts in Franklin Township it's a real huge deal, whether you're talking about band or orchestra. So, Mr. Hutchins, you're at the high school a lot because you kind of split time in working with the indoor percussion. Talk about that transition for our kids to high school and how the junior high helps them prepare to kind of find their spot in the different programs they have at the high school.
Yeah, the high school has been really great about advertising, lots of different avenues for them to go. At any level they want to participate, they can make it the exact same experience that they had in the junior high if they just do the in-class stuff, but they can also get involved in some stuff that we just don't have at the junior high, like the marching band, like the indoor percussion that you mentioned. They also have the color guard avenue. They can do pet band. At the high school, they can even have some of these instruments that these kids are playing join the orchestra. So they just have a lot of different opportunities for them to, find some path that they can be in outside of the regular class period. So it's pretty cool.
I will say I did notice that I went to the last orchestra concert, and when we got to the end, and it was the kind of the top orchestra, and they had the band with them. I left that band concert with some orchestra music on my Spotify because it was awesome. Somebody that's kind of a lay music fan, watching the orchestra combined with the band was one of the coolest things. And then also hearing the band behind the show choir is absolutely awesome. That kind of coordination of everything. So I want to kind of come back through of everybody because one of the things that we always struggle with is convincing kids to get started with anything. It's not just about band, but trying new things. And so I just want to kind of ask each of you, if you were talking to somebody that was thinking about joining band, maybe they're going to be a sixth grader next year, or they're going to be a junior high and they want to get started. What would you tell somebody that's thinking about joining band? Brandon, what would you tell them?
Definitely do it. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of new people. Like I met Jeremiah in band. He's now my best friend. So
that's awesome. Yeah, those relationships. Jeremiah, I'll go straight over you. What would you tell somebody that's thinking about trying, and maybe somebody that's involved in a lot of different things?
Also, I would tell them it's really fun and you get to try new experience throughout your band career that you're going to do. And you might can do extra things like marching band or pep band or any things like that. So it's really fun.
It's awesome. Storm, what about you? What would you tell somebody that's thinking about joining a band?
I would also tell them to do it because, like they said, you get to meet really cool people and you can just have so many opportunities when you join band, and it's really worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Gabe, what would you tell somebody that's about to join band or maybe thinking about it?
I would just tell them the same thing. Just tell them to just go for it and just try it out. You get to meet a bunch of people. You get a bunch of different pathways you can go down.
Yeah. And so you guys are getting ready to go on to the high school next year. Gabe, we'll go backwards through here. What are you most excited about as you go into ninth grade?
I'm actually really excited to see all of my friends from marching band. I'm most excited about that.
Yeah, you've already got that connection in there. Storm, what about you? What are you excited about ninth grade?
I'm really excited because I can join the jazz band class, and I love jazz band so much, and my brother is also in it, and I'm hoping that I can somehow be in the same class as him. So it'd be really cool to share a class with my brother.
Yeah, love jazz band. Jeremiah, what about you?
The like building is kind of cool to see what's inside, and the extracurricular things that you can do there is kind of cool because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, just wait on the building. You guys are probably going to benefit the most from it because it'll be complete during your high school career. For a lot of the kids that are there, they won't get to see the end result of all that. Brandon, what about you? What are you excited about next year?
The marching band season, especially because I will be marching with my brother, and me and him are going to be in the same section. So it's a nice experience for me and him to bond before he goes out to college.
That's awesome. And I'm always excited to see what the new show is going to be when you guys go through it in the summer and get it all figured out for marching band season. Mrs. Dunblazer, we'll circle back around to you and our other instructors. When you were talking to kids about thinking about joining band, what would you say to them, and maybe some of the things to counter what they typically say when they're not sure whether they want to get going with something like learning how to play an instrument?
Well, kind of thinking back to when my son, who's now a sophomore in high school, when he was going down this path, like one of the things, and I try not to push it on him, I try to let him make his own decisions. Having a mom that's a band director, it's a little bit different situation. But one of the things I would tell our kids is we always have a place for everybody. So even if you're not sure about something and you're not sure whether you want to take that plunge, or maybe you're gung-ho about it and you're already in lessons, you've been in lessons for a year. The way that we structure our classes, at least here at the junior high, everything is ability based. So if you are like wanting to go overboard and push yourself academically through band classes, we have a class for you. If you're not sure what you want to do, but yet you still like participating in this particular group, we have a class for you. If you are, just one of those people that likes to play your instrument, but maybe you're not always the best, we have a class for you. So we include everybody, and that's the cool thing about it. You can be the best on your instrument. You don't have to be the best on your instrument. We're all one big, happy, dysfunctional family, and I think that's what makes it special. You can play the same music, you can play different music, and it all works out in the end.
Yeah, that fear of getting started, of thinking that you're going to be different than anybody else when everybody else is in the same spot that you are, just trying to learn. Mr. Hodgson, what about you as you're thinking about kids coming into sixth grade or even to the junior high? What would you tell them about joining the band?
I can't believe none of these guys said it, but their teachers are really awesome. Well, but it is a unique, class where a lot of times you'll be in the exact same class with the same people for multiple years, might have the same teacher for multiple years, and that doesn't normally happen in the junior high or the intermediate. And we tell them a lot about the culture of what we have going on here, that it isn't like math class and you're just worried about yourself and your grade, but you're part of a team sport. And it really does become a family. So they get to feel what it's like. We already talked about some of the social aspects. These two talk about how they, became best friends over it. we have some built-in extra stuff that is not even music related. That's just fun for them to do. We get to go and play at the homecoming game and all the stuff that goes along with that. We do one performance over at the high school with a side-by-side concert, and they still have all the stuff up from Sounds of the Season. So the stage experience there is wonderful. This contest that we just went to, I mean, even though it was just down at Clark Pleasant, it's just fun to get on a bus and go on a little field trip and come back. And then for those that care to do it, at the end of the year, we're going on a Kings Island trip, and that's always a lot of fun. How many of you guys are going on that trip? Yeah.
I remember all the kids talking about the Kings Island trip. It's a big deal.
So it's pretty cool. It takes on a different feel from a normal class, and I would say that's probably one of the biggest selling points is it's just more than just playing an instrument.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Mrs. Powell, and then Mrs. Dembele, I'm going to finish up with you to talk about some of the awards that we won at the last ISSMA contest. Mrs. Powell, what would you tell folks that are wanting to try? You've got your former high school band director sitting in there, and so it's obviously benefited you along your career. What would you tell somebody that's wanting to join band?
One thing that I think is really cool about how Franklin Township sets it up is every grade level that you advance, it opens up more opportunities. So it just does kind of like every year it opens up to, no matter what kind of student you are, what kind of band experience you want, the opportunities just keep opening up. So maybe you don't exactly like the type of music, but next year you get to try 3 different ensembles, or you get to try a secondary instrument if you're marching or if you're in jazz band, or something like that. Or you try a totally different activity that's related to band, like color guard. So it's just the band program just keeps evolving and opening up as students kind of figure out who they are, what they want to be, and how that fits into this program. And
shout out to the Guard. The growth that the Guard has had over the last several years has been absolutely awesome. Mrs. Dunblazer, I don't know that I really know what all we won at ISSMA. So what were the awards and the ratings that we won at ISSMA this last time through?
Well, would you like the accomplishments we've made so far this year, or strictly just ISSMA?
Let's all of the above. You guys have so much to celebrate, and I don't know that we do nearly enough to pull out the junior high side of what you guys accomplished. So let's hear it all.
Okay, so since the beginning of the school year, we've had 21 students that were selected for the Indiana Bandmasters All-Region Honor Band. I think some of you guys. It was you? Okay, all right. There's Brandon over here. We had 67 events in the ISSMA Solo and Ensemble contest. So of those events, we had 47 solos, 22 ensembles with 132 students participating. 5 of those events received perfect scores. 6 events earned scores just a half a point away from perfection. We had 1 state qualifier, and that was Phoebe Smith on French horn, and she earned a gold rating at state.
And every single one of those events got gold.
Yep. Every single one of the district events received gold. At the jazz contest, we received gold with distinction. We had outstanding soloist awards from Easton Garcia on alto sax, Delilah Cochran on marimba, and Sullivan McKenzie on bass. And then recently in March, we had 2 of our bands, our 8th grade band, Symphonic Band and Group 3 earned a gold. They were a half a point away from with distinction. And then our wind ensemble, our top 8th grade band, earned gold with distinction, which I believe is our top scores we've ever received. We had 2 judges that gave us perfect 9s, perfect scores. So, yeah. And we also earned the, I can't remember if this is the 8th year. I think this is the 8th year that Franklin Central Junior High / East received the ISSMA All Music Award. So we'll be getting another banner for our building.
That's awesome. You guys just continue to step it up, and I think performing arts overall, we just continue to raise the bar every single year. It's pretty awesome to see, and it's because of you 4 sitting right here at the front, putting in the work and being pushed by the 3 behind you. All of you put in your pre-survey about how the teachers push you to be your best, and that will absolutely benefit you down the line. Thank you guys for talking me through everything and what you guys do. Teachers, thank you guys for pushing and giving them this opportunity. One of the things we really pride ourselves here in Franklin Township is you guys do have more opportunities than a lot of other schools have. And so we want to keep providing those opportunities and keep letting you shine. So thank you to everybody again for being here. Thanks for joining us on Voices in the Community, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you.